In studio today, we have an interesting person. It's Dhanika. She is a risk manager in a financial institution, and she's also an artist. Welcome, Dhanika, to
Hello.
Borasani.
Hi, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for making the time.
My pleasure.
So, Dhanika, could you share a little bit about your background, your educational background, or your work that you'd like to share with us?
Sure. So I'm actually by profession a risk manager for a financial institution, and I focus primarily on trading risk. If I have to be specific, my role is meant to take care of the risk a trader or sales could bring to the financial institution. In short, basically, yeah.
Okay. Today we have an interesting topic to discuss. I would say it is quite a heavy topic. How art advocacy can influence environmental changes. So let's discuss how art can influence the changes in environment, such as plastic pollutions, endangered species, oil spills, and climate change. So what can an artist do to raise awareness for these environmental causes?
Okay. I'm glad you asked that question. I would say, it depends on the artist and it depends on their platform. An artist who has a significant following would probably be able to use that and via their artworks, actually not just paint on the art, not just, do creative ideas, but talk about it. So a lot of times people, they, like the Malayan tiger situation, you are painting about the Malayan tigers, but are you talking sufficiently so that, a random person on Instagram who comes across your art, they love the art style, but they're not connecting to the message? So I would say an artist can use their art styles, their creativity to further discuss, on the chats, on the captions and stuff. And that way you are going to be able to bring awareness to people who might not already be thinking about it. So that's one of the ways I can think an art.
So you're saying using a social media network, you're able to reach to a wider coverage.
Yep. In a nutshell, yeah. Okay. The reason why I suggest that is the world is now connected on Instagram and the network, right? And I would say this is the fastest way that we can use, because if you are going through the traditional means, not the mass of society might not necessarily connect to it immediately. So yeah.
And I also think another way that artists can promote is by using recycled materials. Eco materials that is sustainable. So they can actually use this to create art and have an art exhibition. Yes. I think that is another way to actually raise awareness as well.
Very creative idea. I totally agree. And it's just that we don't have a lot of people doing that. It's like very, very, very few. And I don't see artists exploring that as much as they could.
And I also think another way is the artists to collaborate with environmental organization, like having the habitat restorations and some conservative for, endangered species.
Yep.
So I think that's another way that we could raise awareness.
For sure. Yeah, totally.
For sure, yeah.
But you need to be like well connected.
Yeah, well connected. The network must be there for you to be able to reach out.
Yeah.
And you also need to have the people who have the same mindset. They're working on the same campaign.
Correct.
So that you're able to drive this. Because I think by being one person, one man show, that will be difficult. If you have a team of people, the network is bigger and you're able to, connect with people.
A lot more things.
Yeah, do more things. All right. My next question is, what do you think about climate activists' actions to vandalize art galleries? I think the notion is to speak about, we are supporting the environmental causes, the climate change. Just like one incident that happened in year 2012, Just Stop Oil. I think they poured some tomato soup and some potatoes on Mona Lisa's painting.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my gosh.
So what do you think about these climate activists? Do you think that they should express themselves in such a way?
So, my take on climate activists is, first of all, I think they're doing what they feel they need to do for society, for humanity, because we are at a point where globally, with a lot of the problems that we're facing, someone needs to say something. Otherwise, it's humanity who suffers as opposed to nature, because nature has a way to find itself and grow and restore, right? Humanity on its own if you don't have nature, you're going to struggle. So I would say climate activists or regional intention is good, but what they're doing now
Action.
is getting chaotic, maybe because they need to get the attention, and so they're using that as a way to
Yeah.
bring the attention, get viral, for example. I would say,
Yeah.
is it right? I think, oh, did they really destroy the Mona Lisa?
They did not destroy because the painting is actually protected by a glass frame, but they were able to throw the tomato soup and the mashed potato. So you can look it up. Just Stop Oil in year 2012. Not only that, they also attack Vincent van Gogh's museum in Amsterdam. They did that as well.
Oh, damn.
That is, I think, to stop about oil and gas spilling. Yeah, and we know our famous, climate activist, Greta Thunberg. When she was schooling, this is an interesting point that I would like to share. When she was schooling, every Friday she skips school and she goes to the Swedish parliament and protests. So she started very young,
Yep.
and she has an international recognition, as well as I think her name has been nominated for Nobel Prize as well, Nobel Prize as well.
I heard about her. I really appreciate what she was doing, and for someone at her age to do something like that. But you know what? Look at the irony of the situation. She made so much moves and so important during that phase, and now the viral media has just kind of like gone over and covered over. So this is like the downside of not being able to consistently bring the awareness, and people need to consistently do it.
Correct. I think it is quite difficult to bring changes in human,
Yeah.
because that's been their natural habitat to do that, to pollute places, to throw things. So that I
Yes.
think it takes, I don't know, something great to happen in order for them to change their mindset,
Yeah.
to think about the
Something
environment
not
that
very
is
positive as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My last question on this topic, Dhanika. Why art advocacy is important for environmental causes? Why is it considered important? Or do you think it is important?
Of course. I mean, I'm also kind of pivoting in that area, in that direction for now.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's not just maybe art advocacy is the platform or the media or the starting point. But if we didn't have any artists who are talking about these issues, if nobody ever talked about it, and we continue this direction where humanity is going, downward spiral, global warming, increasing the pollution, like you said, and causing total disruption to the endangered species, for example. If no one is talking about it, if not the artists, how do you get the message across? And the artists with their creative mind will be able to bring out something inside of the masses, for example, and get them asking the right questions.
Yeah, and I think normally artists, they are able to move people. They're able to inspire people.
Yeah.
So they bring out the message, not in a way of direct, literally context. Sometimes they can use symbols, for example, for nature or for a tree. So I think they are very creative. Artists have a way of bringing it out and to bring awareness for people to realize that
Yes.
I should stop littering, or I
Correct.
should save the plastic bottles and things like that.
Yes, it's that creativity that people would start to like wake up on, and I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the last point is that art gives a voice, that sometimes you don't have to speak so much, just by visual or performance. Yes, you're able to bring out the message.
Totally. Yeah. And it's like, compare an artist who's coming up with, something like this beautiful artwork I see here. That's really beautiful. And then you have a normal Instagram profile that is just talking about, okay, I support the Malayan tigers, which is actually going to probably wake someone up if you just have like one picture of a tiger versus an art that's talking about the tigers that are endangered and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a bit hard to get viral on that point unless you already have a
network.
Yes.
And a social following, then you're able to bring out the message.
Yeah.
I think this has been a very fruitful discussion about art advocacy and environmental causes.
Thank you for asking those questions. Appreciate it.
So, Dhanika, I would like to ask you, I know that you're doing art as a hobby.
Yeah.
And it's been how many years now have you been painting?
I think I started officially 15 years ago. about 15 years ago.
15 years
Yeah.
ago.
On and off, yeah.
So what are the challenges that you face as an artist when you're painting? I know that you probably are not very active in painting, or joining exhibitions, but I'm sure there are certain challenges that you face when you want to start to paint, or to buy a canvas,
Yeah.
And how do you gather ideas or being inspired to start a painting?
Well, thank you for asking that question. I would say my original when I started off, I must maybe just briefly share that the intention of creating was to discover something about myself. And I was at that time in Hong Kong studying and working, and I didn't know, there was a lot of challenges internally I had to figure out. So I just basically painted. It didn't matter what I was doing, how I was doing it, whether it looked nice or not.
You just wanted to express yourself.
I wanted to find out, right?
Yeah.
But over time, as I look into other artists and I discover more people and styles, and I realize that people actually paying attention to what I'm doing, I wanted to improve on the skills, right? And the skills part was the challenge because
Yeah.
I'm just, not
Self-taught.
Self-taught, yes. That a hobbyist. So I learned over time and improved on that. And then it became a next stage, which is the topic of the art, finding out the themes, what was important. And then, you know,
And then you join exhibitions.
then I came back to Malaysia and I met you, and you were so kind to include me in those
I
exhibitions.
think you joined with us 2 exhibitions. Three. Oh, okay.
3 or 4, maybe, I think.
And now it's the 4th one, Morasini.
Yes. I really appreciate you keeping me in your mind.
Okay.
So yeah, the second, now the challenge for me is because that phase of my life is over, I'm stuck.
So I have to create an exhibition now.
Yeah, I'm stuck because I've gone over that, and now I have to figure out, okay, what do I do this? What do I do? And initial thought is the environment, and especially animals. But again, I'm getting stuck because the idea to use, like what you were talking about, very importantly, is that creative way to bring awareness is kind of like stuck inside me. I don't know how best to.
Yeah, but I think sometimes, I think as an artist, I think you're going through a creative block, they will say.
Yeah.
So you need some time to process what is in your thought. So give it some time, and I'm pretty sure that you'll be inspired.
Hope so.
Because sometimes it takes time, it takes a few months, and maybe being in the same place, or maybe you should travel, and then you can get ideas by going out, because sometimes stress could also pull you down, and you have the creative block.
For sure. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll do that.
So Dhanika, my last question is, do you have any future plans or projects in your pipeline besides breaking your creative blocks? So that is your future plan? How to overcome a creative block?
Okay, you mean in art, you mean?
Or anything.
Anything else?
Anything that inspires you. I think you were interested in, I think right now, the cause for animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I recently rebranded my art page to be more animal focused. And at the point where I started the rebranding, I was a bit annoyed with society and humanity. So I may have come across as being very aggressive. But now I think I'm rethinking the approach. Maybe I want to see, is there another way I can probably use this existing platform and communicate my fears about this topic significantly out if I can. Like I said, I'm just currently going through that block, and I want to just maybe figure out what is the best way. And you are right, my work has really taken up a lot of my time, so it's kind of like it's not yet filling, but over time, I think I'll figure it out. So do I have a project in mind? Not yet, but I think I want to just maybe start by painting again and doing art again over the next few months, and then get back to it.
I think taking the first step of realizing that you have a creative block, that is a positive thing. But my suggestion would be, instead of focusing on what you're going to paint, big painting, get a small sketchbook.
Right. Of course.
I think that helps a lot. It helps me too.
Yeah, you really go wild on that.
So get a small sketchbook, any ideas that come, scribble, start from there.
Okay.
And then you will have, it's sort of like an art journaling that helps you, to start. Because now the problem is you just visualize big painting. I need to paint big painting. And then that stress you out. Stress
It
you
really
out. Like
does.
for me, if I will look at a big canvas, it stressed me out as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I have to
You
fill
have
up
to
the
think about
whole
the
thing.
medium
Yeah,
and this and that.
and all
Yeah.
that. So I suggest start off with a small sketchbook, start scribbling, whatever, doodling, anything, sketching, drawing. That will help to break.
The artist block, right?
It will definitely help you to break. It will take time, but it will start to break. You can use colors or anything, pencils. So that will help you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I just need the push. And get started and buy the sketchbook.
So Dhanika, it was really interesting to talk to you after
Thank
a
you for
very
having
long
me.
time.
Yes.
I really enjoyed having this conversation with you with fun and laughter.
Yes.
And it has been a very fruitful discussion. Thank you for coming to Borat Seni.
Thank you for having me.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.